This second layer was looking pretty good, so I covered it up. Yeah. I started with some magazine clippings, some quotes that caught my eye and that I felt represented the important issues of today, like Hollywood. Because that's what we're doing today. We're making some pop art. Now, a distinctive feature of pop art is that it's American. And what do Americans love? Other than themselves, of course. Other than cheeseburgers and spelling things without a U. Objectifying women. So, we're going to put this lovely lady down here, relaxing like a French girl at the bottom of the canvas. And in keeping with the theme of Hollywood and American authoritarianistic surveillance, I put the all-seeing and all-fat-consuming mouth of Seth Rogen there at the top, just to keep watch over her. Each piece was put down with intention. There is intensive thought and meaning behind every single element. Like this F, the big F, because I feel that's where we're going right now. Putting a big F in the chat for Americans, and more importantly for pop art. I was liking it too much though, so I sanded it down a bit just to roughen up the surface, and also went in and peeled away some of the layers back, just to make sure that the painting underneath could still haunt me. Yeah. So Adrian Brody's an artist now. Famously, he learnt the piano for his role in the movie The Pianist, which is fine. But like, he properly learnt it. He didn't just learn 4 chords and pretend like most people, like a lesser actor. No, he trained torturously for days on end till the keys were red with his blood and the seat was sticky with his sweat, and he had to peel himself away from the practice chair. He isolated himself to get into character and even sold his apartment, but that's okay because he still owned about 6 more. All to connect with the work. My point is that he put everything he could into that film to try and create the most authentic cinematic experience that he could. And then I look at his paintings and I think, what happened? People call it unoriginal, derivative, ugly as fuck. But I'm here to defend Adrian Brody today. I'm here to prove that he is a real artist. Yes, his art is derivative. Yes, it is cliche. And yes, it is appropriatory of an art style and aesthetic from a background that he will never understand. But so is all pop art. Now, one thing I'd love to ask Brody is why he paints like this, and very nearly I actually did. It was at the Academy Awards 2025, and I was sitting next to Broads, that's what we call them in the industry, because Tom Hanks had begged me to switch seats with him for some reason, and I was about to ask him about his art when his name was called out. So he got up on stage to collect his rewards, and he started his speech. And I kind of decided that maybe it was best not to ask him to talk about himself anymore. Not because he was an incredibly arrogant and insufferable prick on stage, but because I just feel like he covered all bases. He also threw some gum at me, so I don't know what that was about. Now, if we're talking about pop art, we've got to talk about Andy Warhol. One thing we've been really worried about recently is machines making art, AI. The decline of real-life human artists. And we seem to be afraid that we're heading towards this sort of artistic apocalypse. But I'm kind of okay with that, because we're already living there. Warhol was producing art with machines decades before the clankers were, pardon my French. Some might think that by reproducing the same thing over and over again in some postmodern media-saturated theme and variations game, we would end up with a bunch of just crappy artworks. But that's not a problem with Warhol, because they all look exactly the same. And hey, what Warhol lacked in cheap knockoffs, Adrian Brody and every preschool art teacher and teenage rebel made up for. Brody's a copycat. Sorry, did I say copycat? I meant fraud. Sorry, did I say plagiarist? I meant artist. And you know who else plagiarised art? No, not Ed Sheeran, darling, that's for a future video. I'm talking about Keith Haring. Honestly, it's kind of despicable that Herring thought he could get away with taking Mr. Doodle's aesthetic like that. Like, you know, we all see it, bro. You're not slick. Who do you think you are, Takashi Murakami? Get a grip. So yeah, there's kind of an inherent link now between street art and pop art. Probably Basquiat's fault. And speaking of street art, it's time for news of the day. That's the news of the day theme tune. Get used to it, because there's daily news every day, baby. At the time of recording this, tensions are high amongst Daily Mail readers and Guardian readers alike, but for different reasons. Banksy's latest mural on the side of the Royal Courts of Justice has been the subject of controversy and was removed quicker than a flag on a roundabout. Banksy is now the subject of a possible criminal damage charge, and if the appeal goes through, then he could be forced into a public court hearing with his long-hidden face finally revealed to the world. Removing protest art? How absolutely pointless. So, it begs the question, who is Banksy?